my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks? You're now rocking with the one, the only, the Don Tony Teflon. Thank you for coming. I told you that I would come back, and I told you that we talked about this last night about doing the what if streams, and I told you that we do the what if streams. We've been doing them. We haven't done one in a while, so I'm back here doing it right now tonight. Phil the Issues Guy will join me in about an hour. He'll be here around 8:30 or so. Bridge 4. It has the link. If he can make it, he will be here. But until then, it will just be me, your boy, the Don Tony Teflon, rocking this one out. I want to say what up to the people who have come, and also want to give a shout out to Gray Area and Gray Area, the rest of the Die Wolf podcast, Die Wolf City podcast, and LML David Lucifer, a light bringer, because I put out a tweet earlier today about this live stream and why I'm doing a live stream, and they went and they retweeted the tweet. So I'll explain it again to y'all that are here right now. I'm doing this live stream right now. I've been doing it all week because my friend passed away. I'm trying to get some money up for his family to give to them. So if you do leave me a super chat, please leave it in the Cash App, not on YouTube. YouTube takes 40% of all super chat money, and I would like to get them this money. So if you can leave me a super chat, please don't do it on YouTube. Please put it on my Cash App. It's linked in the description right there, so you can see it, and it's also on the scroll on the bottom of this screen. Yes. 2 young sons that they're gonna need help. That we can, anything we can do would be a help for them. So we're gonna try to get some things done and stuff like that while we do this stream. So hopefully that can go. All right, and if you do leave it, I will shout you out. I'll check my phone periodically to see if anyone left anything, and we'll shout out. And I'll thank you, Kelly Johnson, for the super chat again. Let's say what up to some people who are rocking with us right now. You got Sonic, your boys up in here. My brother from another mother, Muhammad's up in here. Klinsky is up in here. Luna Cascade is up in this piece. Crystal is rocking with us right now. Who else do we have in here? As always, my man Kelly Johnson rocking with us right now. As always, that. T, will Jon kill Euron and take his Valyrian? We're going to get into all this. We're going to get into everything. We're going to talk about this whole situation with Euron Grayjoy. This is what if Euron Grayjoy does get a dragon. Now, this is a special type of what if. Usually when we do what ifs, like we don't do it like what if Jaime Lannister didn't lose his hand, or what if Tywin didn't die. We do hypothetical ones, but this one right here has a really good chance of actually happening. It's a good chance that Euron Greyjoy does get his hands on the dragon. So yes, this is a what if, but this is also a show that possibly we could see this go down in the book. So not only will I do the what if part, but I will give you my theories of what I think is going to happen to certain characters while it goes down. Again, Phil will be here at 8:30. So if you do want to call in, please leave the call-in numbers on the call, 781-990-8509. And as soon as Phil gets in here, I'll go through all of those questions. What up to Carla Way in the building rocking with us? And what up to Lady Stonehearted Kimmy G in the building rocking with us? All right, so we got a bunch of people here. And I'm happy to have you all here. And my man Vincent Harper, I've seen this drop by and everything else. So thank you. Let me just say this real quick. I just got 2 super chats, so let me just say thank you to Chastity, who sent me a super chat. I appreciate that so much, and they're going to appreciate it. So thank you for sending that right now. We truly appreciate it. Like I said, any little bit helps. So this if you could do it, I would truly appreciate you doing it. What up to Champagne up in the building, and again, my man Vince Harper up in the building rocking with us right now. All right, and Delincia, attacking what I can't pronounce. I'm not going to pronounce. I can't pronounce that, man. Tucker is in there. Well, I can just call you DDT, right? Yeah, DDT. We're going to go with that. What up, DDT? What's going on, everybody else? All right. let's get right into it because I'm not going to keep you all waiting. I already had the speech in the beginning and everything else. Let's go right into it. What if Euron Grayjoy gets himself a dragon? Now, first, in order to come up with this or see if this is going to happen, we have to see how. Realistically, and I'm just going to make stuff up. We go realistically, how he can get his hands on the dragon. Is it possible for Euron Greyjoy to get his hands on a dragon? And I would have to say, yes, there's a great possibility. We know that he had a horn called Dragonbinder, right? And this is the horn that he gave to his brother Victarion Greyjoy. Now, on this horn, it does say that in order for you to use this horn, you must claim it with blood. That is what they said. That is what the glyphs read on this horn. Victarion, because he's so smart, he figures, claim it with blood. So he starts to rub his own blood onto the horn. Now, he believes that that's going to work, that is going to make it so that if he blows on it, the dragons will then come to him. He will claim the horn. But we also hear him say that all of Euron's gifts are poison. That's straight poison, all of his gifts. So if Euron's gifts are poison, then what do you think is most likely going to happen? I would say that the horn is most likely already claimed. That Euron has already claimed it with blood. And you're not going to be able just to wipe blood on it and claim the horn. Maybe all the deaths. We've seen Euron doing a bunch of sacrifices, supposedly to the drowned god. He's done a bunch of sacrifices to whoever he got. Maybe all these deaths is what it takes to claim this horn in blood. So if Dragonbinder, if it is there, and what up to my man David Lightbringer up in here and stuff. I appreciate you being here. I wish you could have been on the stream with me tonight. I wanted David to be on the stream, but he's going through some stuff in California right now. He's going through some stuff out there in California. So we raise the glass to him. Hope you're safe, bro. Hope everything works out with you. I truly do, and everything else. And hopefully next time, you know what I mean? You can get up on here when the weather isn't so bad and stuff like that, bro. We'd love to have you on here. So we look at the horn. We look at the horn right now, Dragonbinder. It's a good possibility to me that when you look at this horn, that it already has been claimed by Euron Greyjoy. So if he has claimed this horn, because why else would he give up? And you hear Victarion say something about it. You hear him say specifically, why would Euron give me this is so powerful, this weapon. How could he give this to me? And instead of just really thinking like, wait a second, there's got to be something crazy going on here, right? There's got to be something up here. Why would he give me such a powerful weapon? Instead of that, he's just thinking, why with this horn, I could take over the world with this horn. And it does seem that there's some type of effect about this horn, that while he's around this horn, that somehow this horn is making him not think as clearly as normal, but he doesn't see it that way. Maybe the horn could be taking control of it. Maybe it does some type of thing where it makes your ambitions come out too much, right? So we also see, dealing with Victarion Greyjoy, that he has a couple of people with him that is a little shaky. First, we have Moqorro, who is a red priestess, who we know Moqorro's goal is to be with Daenerys Targaryen, right? That's what his goal is. He wants to get to Daenerys Targaryen, and he is doing this through Victarion. And you remember, he has seen everything that already through the flames. So Moqorro is not afraid of anything, because he's already seen what's going to happen in the future in the flames. Now, as I've told you before, when you ever see any red priest or anyone looking into the flames and seeing the future, that is one person giving them that vision, and that is the last Green Seer, who has taken over the body of Bloodraven and will then take over the body of Bran. He is the one giving the visions, driving the whole narrative, and pushing these people in this direction. So Moqorro has nothing to fear. He's not afraid of what's going on, because he already knows what's going to happen. And he tells Victarion straight up that I see a bright future in store for you. Big, bright future. And Victarion hears that and he's like, wow, big, bright future. It's got to be that I'm going to grab this dragon horn and I'm going to claim Daenerys for my own wife and everything else. And that's what he wants to believe is going on, right? That's what he wants to think. Everything is happening and stuff. But we must know that Victarion is not the smartest knife in the drawer right now, right? He's kind of stupid and he's just falling for exactly what he knows. He says Euron's gifts are poison, but yet he's not smart enough to say, why would this guy give me this gift? It's too precious, right? Why would he do that? He would have to say some situation like that. So with him thinking that, I'm not thinking that, we've seen him try to claim the horn as we talked about earlier with blood. We don't think that's going to work. So now we have another person in there. That is the Dusky Woman that's with him. These are the two people that have just happened to show up for no reason. The Dusky Woman. Now, the Dusky Woman is not who it claims to be. This woman has no tongue. Right? Specifically, Euron likes to do this because if you don't have no tongue, you can't speak to him. And he knows that Victarion is going to want to be with this woman because she can't talk back. That's one thing that he didn't like about his other wife, that she talked back to him. So Euron knows, let me put this woman with him. She's not going to be able to talk back. That's what he's going to do. Now, he lets the Dusky Woman bleed him, right? And he lets the Dusky Woman sleep with him, right? So who is the Dusky Woman? Is this really a Dusky Woman? I don't think so. I think it's two possibilities. Now, you have to look at the timeline. I don't know exactly, but I have to look at the Forsaken chapter timeline. We know that was supposed to come out in Feast for Crows, but yet it got pushed back all the way to this book. And then you have to look at the Victarion chapter's timeline. Now, is it Euron Grayjoy as the Dusky Woman? To me, if that's the case, that's kind of nasty. All right. Now, if Euron is up there letting his brother stick him, all right, you know, and stick him, stick him. If he's letting him do it to him, I'm saying he's his own. I ain't saying nothing wrong with it. He can definitely do it. I'm saying, but your brother. Now, this is Game of Thrones, and we've seen brother-sister situations already. Right, we've seen it. It's already happened, right? We've seen it. So could it be a brother? I mean, we ain't got nothing else. Might as well go that way. Might as well be about that life. It might as well be like that. So I'm not saying that it can't be that situation going on, but it could be. Another possibility for the Dusky Woman is it could be a warlock, right? We've seen Euron have warlocks. We know that warlocks can change their appearances, right? We've seen it in the Game of Thrones show. When the warlock tried to assassinate Dany, came as a little girl, right? And then jumped, hissed, again, hissed, didn't talk. That warlock in the show, hissed. In this book, when we hear the warlock, she hisses. When she sees Mokoro, she doesn't talk, she hisses. Right? Hisses. Just like in the show, when we seen the warlock just a little girl, hiss. Why would this Dusky Woman hiss at Mokoro? Maybe Mokoro can see through the glamour that's put there, and that's why the hissing. So therefore, if you have to ask me, if I had to pick, I would say that it's most likely a warlock under doing Euron's bidding. That is the Dusky Woman. That's what I believe we're going. Now, Vincent Harper says we all hiss with no tongues. I don't know. I have a tongue. So I don't know how that would be. But I don't think it's coincidence. And I think you can make more than one than a hiss sound if you don't have it talk. But I do believe that is what I think is going on there. I do believe that it is a warlock that is glamored to look like a woman. Sent there by Euron Greyjoy to keep an eye on his brother Victarion. And that is why Mokoro doesn't like him and everything else. That's the theory that I'm putting out there that I think. All right. I don't want to talk too fast, right? Because we got a lot to go through here. We'll make sure everybody is on speed with that going on. Now, So now that we have that situation, and what we're trying to do is get this dragon to Euron in this what if situation. How does he get it? All right. So Victarion has his people blow the dragon horn. They die after they blow the horn. Now it's the people who's the slaves on the ship. He has them blown. He said the last person who blew the horn, whole fate had a bird on his chest, and the bird started dripping blood. So he's like, well, you don't blow it that long. You all take a turn to blow it. He don't care if you're going to die and everything else. So what I think that is a good shot to do, what could really happen is they blow this horn, and it actually works. It actually binds a dragon to Euron. If that's the case, then you would see when Victarion lands during the battle, we see Sir Barristan Selmy already at war. He sees the Greyjoy's ships pulling up. He sees the banners. He doesn't know whose side they're on, but he sees the banners. So what you're going to see is Euron come off that ship with his troops, and they're going to smash the Yunkai fleet, and they're going to help them win. But what's going to happen here is then Victarion is going to fight Barristan Selmy one-on-one. He's going to see him on the battlefield. He's going to recognize who he is. He's going to know the legend of Sir Barristan Selmy. He's going to know it. And he's going to fight him one-on-one. When we look at Victarion Greyjoy, all we ever hear about is how he wants to make a name for himself for fighting. He wants to fight a legendary person so he can collect that scalp. He's going to get the chance to collect that scalp, and that scalp is going to be Sir Barristan Selmy. Now, we have seen in the show Sir Barristan Selmy die at the hands of someone who wasn't in the show. There was no Victarion. So he died during the battle, right? I didn't like the way he died. The actor was so upset the way he died that he went and protested to Dan and Dave. And then they said, we are so happy that we killed him because he bitched that he wasn't killed yet in his books. But that to me says that if he had a lot to do, if he had more to do, something special that led to the end game, they wouldn't have been able to kill him off. So that means to me, I think he dies here. We even in the chapter of the Sir Barristan chapter, we even hear him talking about him dying. And he also reminisces about his first fight that he ever got into and how he shit his pants. Now, usually they say before you die, your whole life flashes before your eyes. So there's a good chance of him reminiscing about this. They're setting it up that he's going to die. But he's not going to die versus the people he's fighting at this time. It's going to be versus Victarion Grayjoy. And once Victarion Grayjoy kills him, Dany will then come back, find out that Victarion Grayjoy killed him. And as Moqorro said, there's a bright future for you. Well, that brightness is Dragonfire. And Dany will then burn Victarion Grayjoy dead. And that's how the story ends between Victarion Grayjoy. That's how his life ends. That's his great future that Moqorro glimpsed in the what? In the flames. And that's how it ends for him. So therefore, using this what-if scenario, I think that's how we can get the dragon over to Euron in a way that it works for the books. Now, I'll take any questions in there before we go on, because that's what we have to get established, that Victarion could get his hands on the dragon. That's how I would think it would happen, if it's going to happen. So if there's something else, let me know. Luna says, let's go through some chat things right here. It says, book Euron way different than show Euron. Yes, 100% they dumbed down the character. There's no doubt that they did that. You know what I mean? Well, without a shadow of a doubt that they did that. You know, we'll see if anyone else has any other questions. We'll take them right now, and before we go on to this next part and stuff. And let me read. I got a couple of more super chats right here, so let me read them out. My man David Lightbringer, thank you so much for the super chat. I truly appreciate it. And Jasmine, thank you for the super chat, for the donation. I truly appreciate it, man. Really do, for both of y'all. It's really going to a good cause, and I really am glad that you're willing to help out. his cause. So thank you so much. Truly, 100% appreciate it. Y'all know I don't come on here asking for stuff. Never. You know what I mean? Ever. In all the years that I've been doing this stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is Eric Graham. That is the bright future that's in front of him. And it's going to be a hella bright. Thank you, LML. Thank you. I truly appreciate it, man, and everything. Klensky says the show Euron is ridiculous. I think what they were going for with the show Euron was that they would just wanted someone, number one, who looked like Theon, so he looked like he could be related to him. And they just wanted to cut, when you take out Victarion's character, they want to give him a little bit of Victarion and somewhat of Euron and everything else. So I think that's where the problem lied, that they should have put Victarion in there. And again, it's also because the show was lost. You know what I mean? If it wasn't lost and it was ever able just to, to be a more cohesive show, it would have been much better and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, and again, I would have liked Mads Mikkelsen as Euron. I think a lot of people would have liked that. Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. I know you can super chat me in the Cash App, bro. Because you did it yesterday, but if you have to do it here, I appreciate it. I do. Red Priest gets visions from R'hllor, not the last green seer. I don't believe that at all. So I don't believe that there's this R'hllor entity. I think all of the blood magic comes from the children of the forest and the last green seer. Everything, any type of many-faced god or whatever you see, any dealing with any magic, blood magic, all stems from them. And now it may be seen differently from different cultures, but in the end, it all stems from them. That's my belief, right? That's the way I see it. I don't see everything else. All right, so let's take this right here. It says, I don't understand how Euron gets to Marine or the dragon to Old Town. So he's not going to go to Marine. The dragon's going to fly to him. So as I said, once he blows that horn, I think the dragon then will return to who has ever claimed the horn and will fly over there. So I think at this time, as soon as that horn is blown and it works, the dragon then flies over to wherever Euron is at the time. And that's how Euron gets to claim the dragon. I do not believe he's going to fly all the way over here at all. I do not. So that's where I think it goes down. Another Kelly Johnson, thank you, says T. Melisandre said she won't last green seer in her dreams. So what Melisandre says is that she's afraid to sleep. And the reason why she's afraid to sleep is because the great other gets inside of your dreams, right? The great other is the last green seer. That's who she's talking about. She sees Bran and Bloodraven, but she says that can't be the great other because the great other is going to look more disgusting. That's in her head what she thinks. But no, it is the last green seer is the great other. He's the one who gets inside of your dreams. He's the one who puts thoughts in your dreams. And that's why she's afraid to sleep, because that's when the children of force, last green seer, is able to contact you and put shit in your head. And that's what's going on there. Let's see what. So Cheryl Baxter says he won't be able to blow the horn. No, he's not going to blow it. So he already has the plan that he has the 3 slaves on his ship. They're going to blow it. Each of them are going to blow the horn once. That's his plan. And he tells them that they're not going to die if they do it. So he specifically is not going to blow it. That's why I believe that Euron gave it to him, because he knows that if he blew it, he'd die. Right? So, but it's already been claimed. I think that is the key thing, that it says specifically, in order to have this horn work, you have to claim it with blood. I think it's already been claimed. And that is why he's willing to give it away and everything else. Paul, hey, T, killing it on the Wednesday. Well, thank you very much, man. I'm trying my best. I told you I'm going to be out here every day this week trying to stream and stuff like that and try to get this money up for my peoples and stuff. So I told you I'd do it. I'm a man of my word, and here we'll be here tomorrow too. We're going to be here tomorrow and everything else. But Hopefully we get more people to rock on stream with me and everything else, and that's the way it goes. So that's where I go. So that's what I think, Cheryl. Not saying that I'm right or wrong. I can't really tell you that, but in my opinion, I think that that's what's going to happen. So we shall see and everything else. If there's any other questions in the chat, I will take them right now. If not, we will move on to the next section. Let me say I got another donation here from Bernard. Thank you very much. Cheer. I appreciate it so much. So much. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. I think we're good on this and everything else. All right. I think I got that question already. All right. I think we're good on that. So we're gonna move on. All right. So at this particular time in this what if video, we have given Euron Grayjoy a logical reason of how he can have a dragon horn. Let me take this question. It says, do you think Daenerys will be able to blow that? Do you think Daenerys will be able to blow that horn? No, I don't think she's going to blow the horn. I don't even know. I don't even know if the horn makes it. The horn may sink to the ground. It may be in the ship. The ship may get blown down, and it may just get burnt to the ground. The horn after this. I don't see a bunch of people blowing the horn and everything else. I just see it going down like that. All right, so that is the way I see it. So let's keep on going from there. So now we have Euron Grayjoy. All right, we have Euron Grayjoy, and we have him with a dragon. All right. So then, what's Euron Greyjoy's next move? He has a dragon. Now, if you watch the video that I made this video. It's called "How the Winds of Winter Will End." I think it's a 3-part video I made. I made that video over 8 years ago. And in that video 8 years ago, I said that Euron Greyjoy would do what? Hook up with Cersei Lannister. When I said that, no one believed me. Everyone thought it was far-fetched. Said that 8 years ago. And in the show, we've seen that exact thing happen. Euron Greyjoy hook up with Cersei Lannister. So I think that's what will happen there. We also see from the book when in the Forsaken chapter, when he has his brother, he sees Euron. He says, "Look at the throne that I'm on." And he sees him sitting on the Iron Throne with a woman right next to her who's pale white next to him. We know that Cersei in the prophecy says the Valancourt will wrap his hands around what? Your pale white throat. So when you have a pale white woman sitting next to him by the Iron Throne, that is going to be Euron with Cersei Lannister, and he is going to sit there. Now, whether he sits the Iron Throne or not is a whole different situation, because we know at this time when he sent those visions over to his brother, that is what he projected into his brother's head, not the future like we see with the last Green Seer, the real future. That was the future he wanted to show him, right? That was Euron's dream. So I think that we will get Euron Greyjoy there, and I think that he will hook up with Cersei Lannister, and she's going to say, "You have to do something for me. If you want this, I'm going to need you to do something for me. All right? I'm going to need you to hold it down for me. You have a dragon. I'm going to need you to do something for me." So what is she going to ask him to do? What's going to go down? Look at the position that Cersei Lannister would be in at this particular time. We have a lot of stuff going on right now. We would have Fagon, right? Inside, chilling out there inside of Storm's End. We have that whole situation going on there. We're going to have Daenerys eventually coming down to King's Landing, right? So Cersei's going to be surrounded on all fronts. She's going to have to do something in order to get out of this situation. Now, will Fagon actually make it to Daenerys? Will Fagon actually be there and get to Daenerys? Like a lot of people do think, like, oh, she's going to be judged, right? Everyone think that it's going to be Daenerys to judge Fagon. Prophecy kind of says that is a possibility. But what if that is not what happens? What if he is judged by a dragon. I think that's what we get when we deal with Westeros Targaryen situation. What we get here in Westeros Targaryen situation is that there's only one type of blood test back in the day, and that's blood test by dragon, right? That's how they blood test people back in the day. If you're Targaryen blood and you need a blood test, there was no Maury Povich back then. It was blood test by dragon. If you had that dragon blood in you, then that means dragons have a little bit of affinity for you. We see this with Brown Ben Plum, right? We see it with him that he says he has a smidgen of Targaryen blood, and that's why dragons and everything like him. So this could be a same type of situation. Now, in order for Fagon, and I truly wish that Fagon and that whole plot point, would be amazing. I truly wish that whole plot point would be something spectacular. But I truly don't think it's going to be. I think because if it was something that was going to be huge, then I truly think that it would have been inside the show, that they would have added. The fact it wasn't in the show, I think it's something that can be written off from the show and everything else, right? So that's the way I think it's going to go down. So if he is in Storm's End, surrounding Cersei, Cersei's like, I need something for you to do. We have a Targaryen pretender or a Targaryen, someone claiming to be a Targaryen right in Storm's End. What are you going to do about that for me? What are you going to do about it? Can you take that problem from me? Now, the reason why they took Storm's End is because Storm's End is supposed to be this unseizable castle. Even though we've seen Stannis get seized in this castle, right? We've seen Stannis there, and he was almost starved to death in that castle, right? But I think it's a good possibility that it's Euron Grayjoy on Dragon back that flies over the Storm's End and roasts Jon Connington and roasts Fagon alive, burns them to a crisp. Just like we've seen with Harrenhal situation, we could see the same type of situation go down at Storm's End, and they could be burnt alive to the dragon possessed by Euron Greyjoy. Again, when we go to the Forsaken Dream, we have to remember what is in that dream, right? What is there in that dream that we've seen? Number one thing we've seen was Euron had some special type of armor. And he said this armor was light, but it was black and it was red and it was light. It looked like it wasn't heavy. What was this armor that he's wearing? This was Valyrian steel armor that he has on. So Euron, in black and red Valyrian steel armor, flies over the Storm's End. And then when he gets over the Storm's End, he takes out Fagon, he takes out Jon Connington for Cersei Lannister, and ending the Dornish threat all in one single blow for her. That is how she gets out. Because think about it. How else can she get out of this situation, Cersei, at this particular? If Cersei's going to get out, and if we're going to go anything from the show, and Cersei is eventually going to sit that Iron Throne herself and become the Queen of Westeros, how can she get out of this situation with Fagon? How could she do this? How could she get through this whole thing? There's only one way. And that is Euron Greyjoy helps her out to get. If not, she's got to retreat all the way back to Casterly Rock if she can make it. She's got to abandon the city and go. Because there's no way she's going to be able to defeat them and Daenerys coming down there. There'd be no way she could do it. Impossible. But we'll take some questions. Again, at 8, you can leave questions on the number on the bottom of the screen, 781-990-8509. Phil will be here to take those questions and stuff when we get when he gets here. So you can definitely leave them there when you can. All right, and we'll take a look at your questions going down here. Let's go through. Carl Carson, yes, real verse is smoky and swirly with lots of color patterns. Is almost alive. We'll go into that. We have him says, I have to get Almighty Kangaroo to drop you off some Vegemite. As far as I don't know what the Almighty Kangaroo is. Unless you're talking to me, unless you're talking to Carla. Way about this whole situation because she's the one who's around kangaroos, goddamn it. Called Kraken is coming somehow. He also had a ship full of pig's blood. I love the Kraken. To snatch the dragon out of the air and drag it. I would love to see this Kraken too. And uniquely, Stella, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, good evening, beautiful people. Tony, sending love and soul-soothing waves of energy to you and your family and friends. I truly appreciate it 100%. Thank you so much. It's very generous for you to do that. Again, if you have this super chat here on here, then I definitely will accept it, and I definitely appreciate it. But if you can, please try to send it to my Cash App. The number's on there. It's $ Tony Teflon 545. YouTube takes 40% of all super chats that you get. This is money that I'm trying to give to my friend, so I would like them to get the whole thing. But I truly appreciate it. You can't do it for some other reason. You can't get it, or you just don't have the cash, or whatever it is, then you can definitely send it here. But if you can, please send it to me in that way. It would help them out more instead of them just getting half of the money and stuff. But again, thank you so much. And I appreciate the love that you're sending and everything else 100%. And I truly, truly appreciate it 100%. So when dealing with a Kraken with Euron, all right, when dealing with it, I would love to see a Kraken. I truly, and as I said, he's put a lot of blood. You see him with the woman that has his baby. He ties her to the bow of his ship, right? And he's got her on the bow of his ship going off into the sea, right? He's done a hell of a lot of blood sacrifices. And I know that a lot of people want these blood sacrifices in the sea to bring a big Kraken out of the sea. But to me, I think those blood sacrifices are only to claim the dragon. I don't know that we get a Kraken. I just don't know if we're going to get it. I would love to see a Kraken, but I don't know if we're going to actually get a huge Kraken. I don't know. It's possible, but I don't know. I think it may be too much to have someone controlling a Kraken and to have a Kraken come. It may be just a little too much. Now, this is a fantasy series, and I would hate to say that anything is too much. You know what I mean? But I just think that it's a little bit far-fetched. I think that as we've seen that the dragon horn needs to be claimed with blood, I think all that blood that we see and all them sacrifices that we see, is all going to this. It's like Victarion. We see Victarion. He's like, I got two gods working with me. I got the fire god. I got the fire hand. I got that guy working with me, and I got the drown god working with me. I got two gods on my side. Do you really? You don't, because Makoro is down with Daenerys and everything else. So the way I see it, you know what I mean? I think that Euron will kill Fagon in this what-if situation. He goes there, he kills Fagon, he wipes out that whole threat for them. Now, that leads to more things going on here. Vincent Harvest says, let me show that on the screen if I can. If a Kraken appears, so will Godzilla. You know what I mean? Carl Karstock said, it would be a bit much, but it would be fun. Listen, I'm not telling you that it wouldn't be. I'd love to see it. But I'm just saying, it just might be a little bit over the top. Now listen, this is a show that has brothers sleeping with their sisters, and we know, and it has dragons, and it has warlocks, and it has blue lips and Euron blue lips, and people going into each other's dreams, and glass candles, and all these things. So to say that it's over the top when you got all those things. I understand that is a bit, not good to say. Definitely they could do it, but I think it's too much. And when I look at what George is trying to do, and I'm not saying he's trying to rush it, but goddamn, we know George ain't trying to rush this motherfucker. Because if he's been trying to rush this motherfucker and it's taking this long, then goddamn, what would happen if he was going slow? I'm not saying he's trying to rush it, but I am saying he's trying to get through it. And if that just leads, could he just do a quick Kraken thing? Can some ship get dragged down by a Kraken? I could see it happening, but it wouldn't be no Kraken on command of Euron, or Euron just all of a sudden's got all these Krakens and they're just killing shit. You know what I mean? I just don't see it. I think Euron's thing, power on this Planetos, power in Westeros, power on this whole thing is dragon power. That's the ultimate power we have always seen. When someone has ultimate power, it's because they have a dragon. And if Euron is going to have ultimate power, it's not going to be because he's implanted because of that. It's going to be because he has a dragon. That's what it's going to be. Not because he has a Kraken. It's going to be because he has a dragon. That's the way it's going to go, in my opinion. That's what I think it's going to be. So that's why I don't think it's going to be a situation with him like that. I think it's just going to be a situation where if he's going to have it, that's the way he's going to have it, and that's what it's going to be there. You know what I mean? So that's the way I see that situation. If anyone has any questions, we have talked about Fagon. I want to talk a little bit more about Fagon and the situation. I don't see how Fagon is the Blackfyre rebellion has to go down. I don't see it. I think it ends now. The final straw, it ends right now. Again, this is Varys and this is Illyrio Malpathis' plan, because this is Illyrio Malpathis' son with the surviving female line of the Blackfyre. That's who Fagon is. That's who he is. And this is Illyrio Malpathis' plan with his friend Varys to try to get his son on the Iron Throne. Now, you got to remember what the plan originally was. The original plan that they had was to marry Daenerys off the Khal Drogo. When Daenerys went with Khal Drogo to conquer Westeros, then he was going to have his son, Fagon, go in there, say he's Rhaegar's son, swoop in and save the day because these barbarian savages have come to take over the country. Here is him to save the day, and that's how he gets on the Iron Throne. But he did not count on the dragons. They did not count that was going to happen. No one could count on that. No one knew that was going to happen. All right? But that was his plan from the beginning, and that's what it's going to be. Now, because of the dragons, they spun their plan into, all right, we're going to have him marry Daenerys now. We're going to have it so that he can get his hands on some dragon. Because what have they said? Dragons are fire-made flesh. Dragons are the power. And he sees that. And that's why he's like, we need to get them together so he can have some dragons. And that's it. And how did he do it? He got Jon Connington, someone who was in love with Rhaegar, who disappointed Rhaegar. We've seen what Jon Connington tried to do with Robert Baratheon. He could have killed Robert. As they said, Tywin Lannister would have just burnt the whole city down and killed Robert in one swoop. But Jon Connington, because he loved Rhaegar so much and wanted to impress him, he wanted to beat Robert Baratheon in a one-on-one combat. And that is why he went out there and wound up getting his ass kicked, right? And having to flee because of his stupidity. Because he wanted to impress Rhaegar. So Rhaegar, I'm going to bring you the head of Robert's, my prince. I'm going to bring you Robert's head for doing this. And nope, got his ass kicked. Got his ass kicked. Woof, out of here, right? That's the way it went. Funny thing would be if somehow Euron caught Grayscale dealing with them. If somehow that grayscale somehow got on him, and he got grayscale somehow, that would be a funny situation right there if he got that. But we could talk about that in a little bit. Luna says, wouldn't Euron have seen in one of his Shades of the Evening visions that Rhaegar's plan was and retaliated accordingly? So what we've seen in the Shade of the, so it's a different situation when dealing with the Shade of the Evening visions and stuff. It's a whole different thing when dealing with those, because from what we've seen about the Shade of the Evening, it makes you more acceptable to thoughts, right? So he forces his brother to drink this Shade of the Evening, which then allows him to use his glass candle, because that's what Euron has. Euron had, it's not the Shade of the Evening that allows you to go inside of somebody's dreams. It's not the drink. The drink makes you more susceptible. That's why Daenerys took the drink. She was more susceptible to the visions that were given to her, right? So when you seen Euron force it down his brother's throat, it was to make him more susceptible to what he was showing him. And he showed him what he wanted to show him through the glass candles. So he's not showing him the future. And I don't think that Euron has seen the future in any of this stuff. I think it's not at all. I think that he is corrupted by the drink, that he's not in the right mind because of the drink, just like the warlocks are. So I don't think that's the way it goes. I don't think he's getting visions of the future. Visions of the future are sent by the last Green Seer, who at this time is inhabiting Bloodraven's body, but then will then skin jump and overtake Bran eventually. That's what the last Green Seer's plan is. Remember, his name is the last Green Seer. Last means last. Like if you have a race and you come in last, that means there's nobody behind you. That's it. It's just you. Right? That's what last means, right? So last Green Seer, he's the last one. It's like I said, if you ever watched that movie Skeleton Key, and if you ever seen that movie Skeleton Key or Body Snatchers, that's what's going on here. The last Green Seer is like Skeleton Key. If you see in that movie, there are slaves in that movie that go using hoodoo magic to jump into other people's bodies and continue their life in these other people's bodies. And they do it right all the time. They keep doing it. That's what the last Green Seer is doing. He's doing that exact same thing. But the thing about that whole situation, and the reason why he's choosing these people, is because in the Vlad 16th chapter, we see the reason when Vlad's about to die, when he's about to die, Vlad, and not his chapter, but in the one that he doesn't have his chapter. You know what I'm talking about, the one he's in. When he's about to die, right? Let's think about this real quick. When he's about to die, he doesn't want to go into this black woman's body. Why? Because he'll lose his powers. In order for him to maintain his powers, he would have to jump into somebody who already has these abilities. So if you just go into someone else's body and you have these powers, you lose them. And that he doesn't want to give them up. But his body's going to die, so he has no choice but to do it, right? So then he jumps into this woman's body, and she bites out her own tongue and claws her face. And what is her face when she does that? A bloody werewood. That's what the face looks like when she does it, right? Why are they showing you the bloody werewood of the body snatching right then? Because that's exactly what's going down. That's exactly what's happening when it goes down. What's happening is the last Green Seer is going and he's looking for people who still have his abilities, his powers. That's why he had to get Bloodraven, because Bloodraven had those abilities. He was able to do it with Bloodraven. And that's why he needed Bran specifically, because Bran has those abilities and powers that he can pass right on, so he can maintain his powers, because he doesn't want to give them up. And look at that, we have made it. You made it big when you have, the sex chat come up inside of your chat. That's when you made it big, when the sex people go up in there and start putting their stuff in the chat and stuff. So that means we're doing good out here tonight. That's how you know. Hey, if you can, please hit that thumbs up for your boy. Put that thumbs up for you, boy. I truly appreciate it if you do. The more thumbs up we get, the more chances that people are going to see the video, and it's going to get spread out there and everything else. So if you can hit that thumbs up, I truly would appreciate it. It would mean a lot. Thank you to my moms who are going out there and taking out all these people in this, doing those things. Let me just say, I got another super chat here from Darrell. Daryl, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat. I think I got everyone. Bernard, I think I said you already, but if not, I'll say you again. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you, Darrell, for the super chat. I truly appreciate it. It's going to a great cause, and I'm sure they're really going to appreciate it when it's all said and done. So we raised a little bit of money so far. Well, thank you very much for that notification. And so we've done pretty good so far. Let's keep it going. Reflective rambling sent me a super chat too. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that from you too. Reflective rambling. I appreciate that. As I said, any little bit can help. Anything you send can help, and everything else. And I'll make sure that everybody gets it. And yeah, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you could do that, I would appreciate it if you could do that. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be out here doing all these streams as long as you want to see them and stuff. And it won't just be me. I'm sure sometimes it could just be boring to seeing me here. But, you know, we're going to have Bridge 4. We'll have Phil the Issues guy. Said Phil's supposed to be here at 8:30 if he can. He said he'll be here. So make sure you leave your messages at 8:30 for all your for us, and I'll answer all the questions. Call in line at 781-990-8509, 781-990-8509. All right, so we're dealing with Euron. Now he has taken out Cersei's biggest threat. He's taken out the enemy. Now he has a dragon. Now, how can this dragon, Daenerys still has two, and she's still coming. I think that her landing on Dragonstone is something that's going to happen. She will land on Dragonstone. She'll be there. She'll have two dragons. He'll have one dragon. So what happens here? How does this take place? How does Euron lose this dragon? Because he can't keep it and he can't live. He has to lose the dragon, and he has to die at the same time. So how does this happen? How does all this go down? I think it goes down as we've seen somewhat in the show, but a little bit more detail. So let me tell you exactly how I feel this is going to happen. Euron Grayjoy the long night will come. Right? It's going to come, the long night. I believe at this time it's going to be Stannis Baratheon at Winterfell, Jon Snow. It'll be Stannis leading the army in Winterfell, dealing with the long night. And here come all the White Walkers. And I do believe that at this particular time, we will then see Euron Greyjoy fall, he will die, and his dragon will then be turned into this dragon will then be turned into the ice dragon by the Night King. Now, I know people are going to say, I don't think there's going to be a Night King. There'll be a Night King. Danny Dave didn't just make the damn Night King. There'll be a Night King in the show. His dragon will then fall. It'll be resurrected by the Night King, turned into an ice dragon. Euron Greyjoy will die, and then his armor will then be taken over by Jon Snow. Because in order to defeat the White Walkers, you're going to have the Valyrian steel armor to withstand the cold. Now, I've done a video in the past, and maybe I wish I could put the link about the meaning of the armor that the Royces wear, the bronze armor and everything. And if you go back, I forgot which name of that video and stuff like that. But if you go back and watch that video, it'll tell you exactly why. I tell you exactly why they wear that armor. So I do believe that that's how Jon Snow will get his hands on this armor. We've seen in his vision that Jon seen himself on the wall with a flaming sword in his hand. And while he was there, he was cutting down white after white after white. And then it was too late. He seen Ygritte and he chopped her down too. But it said that he was armored in black ice. Right? Black ice is what he was armored in. And that's what that is telling you, is that that is the Valyrian steel armor. That is what it is. It's not black ice. It's not actually ice. Right? But if you look at it, black is the color of the armor. Ice was a Valyrian steel sword. So it would be like he's wrapped in a Valyrian steel armor. That is the whole reason. So when they see it say black ice, what is ice? That we know. Ice is a Valyrian steel sword. Black was the color. So now we have the black armor protecting him as ice would protect him, right? That is from Ned Stark ice. The sword Ned Stark would have named Ice, and that would protect him. But now he's wrapped in protection of ice, which is Valyrian steel. Valyrian steel made into armor. And that's where I think it happens. And that's how he gets it. And that's how Euron. Now, exactly how Euron dies is debatable. I can give you 10 different ways of how he dies. You know, but I do believe it'll be a situation where there's going to be, you know, I don't know if there's going to be a meeting like there was with Cersei and all of them. And they're going to talk about, hey, we need to get on the same side to get. It's quite possible they could have a meeting like that. They could have a thing like, yo, we got to stop this threat right now. We got to do this first before we get our own. It quite possible it could happen, but I do believe that he will go up there, Euron, and he will die at whether it's the hands of the Night King or a White Walker or whoever it's going to be, or a white, but he will die, and that's how they get. Now, I have said it in my thing. I have said it. Look at it. See, David Lightbringer. Just look. You see, look, listen. Yeah, listen, Dave. See, he agrees, Tony. He agrees. He agrees. He knows what he get it, right? So I think that when you deal with it, because what do we see? When we see, let's look. I don't know you can't hit the show for it. Let's remember what we see in the show, though. We've seen Sam Tarly go after him. We've seen other people go after White Walkers, and they grab their swords with their bare-ass hands and shatter that steel, right? So in order to withstand the cold, even if these dudes touch you, if they touch you with no weapon, they're shattering steel in there just because they're so cold. So there's no armor that's going to protect them. Now, I said this in that video, and I made up this theory back then about the Royce's armor. What is the Royce's armor? The Royce's armor is made of bronze, right? It has glyphs all over it, and it's made of bronze. What is the main point of bronze? Bronze withstands the cold. It's not as durable as steel or iron. But what it does better than steel and iron, bronze withstands cold better than steel and iron. So when you look and say, why do the Royces wear this old-ass bronze armor when there's better armor made out of steel and coal? This is the reason why they wear it. This is the reason. Because when it comes to dealing with the White Walkers in a long night, the bronze armor withstands cold. Google it. Google bronze right now, and you'll see it yourself. It'll say it. Bronze withstands cold weather better than steel and iron. That's what makes it special. You see what I'm saying? So when you see the bronze, the Royces, and oh, we got this bronze runic armor on. Why is it special for them? This is the reason why it's special for them. Because it can withstand the cold, because they have to fight. And I do believe this is where it goes down to the Vale, because I do believe that they will be defeated. All the Starks and everyone else there will be defeated at Winterfell, and they will have to fight them again in the Vale. And this is where they will win when it's all said and done. They'll win at that time. So thank you for the super chat, Kelly Johnson. He says in this one, T, will Jon Snow tap into his dual heritage magic? Dual heritage magic. So I have to think about this, what you mean by it. If you mean that, will he, what do you mean by this? Is he going to warg into, is he going to use his warging abilities and his abilities to fly a dragon? That would be great if he was able to get a bond with a dragon like that. But I don't know if he's going to do it because, one second, Carla away, she has to leave, have to head back. And later, if the stream's still going, lots of love to you too. We love you so much. Thank you for being here. So, love you, Carla, and everyone else. So, I don't know if he's going to get into it. Jon's warging ability is going to die. He's not going to be able to warg at this time. So, George R. R. Martin specifically said that the reason why Sansa is not a warg is because she lost her wolf. That's what he said. That's a quote from George, that she was able to warg, but she wasn't able to warg after she lost her wolf. Jon Snow, when we see Vlad Skixel, and we always go back to, when we're dealing with warging, you got to go back to the Vlad chapter. That's what that chapter, that's what it's there for. When Vlad was inside of his wolf, a dog, and he didn't realize what he was doing, the only way he was able to get out of that dog was when his father killed the dog, and then he jumped back into his body because he didn't know what was going on. I do believe it's going to be the exact same situation for Jon. That Jon's going to be inside a ghost, and he's not going to realize how to get out, and that ghost is going to get sacrificed and killed in order for Jon to go back into his body. That's the way it's going to go. And I've said this a long time ago. I said this so long ago that if you've ever seen my girl Gray Area, if you've ever seen her ever say, free ghost, no free ghost, the reason why she says that is because I told her that theory a long time ago, and she got so upset with me that I said it, that they're going to kill ghosts. And that's why she says free ghost. That's what that whole free ghost means. That's the whole thing means. Because when I told her that theory, she was like, no, free ghost. And that's what it all goes down to. That's what it's. So I don't think Jon's going to have the ability to warg anymore. I think he's going to lose that ability once Ghost dies. Just like Sansa lost her ability when Lady died. That's what I think. So I don't know if we go with the dual situation. We got Phyllis here. He's just setting up right now. So again, we'll take all your calls. 781-990-8509. Please leave a voicemail for anything that we have to talk about and everything else. Any question you want to say, please leave it there. If you're Vagar or anyone, please. Please leave it up in there and everything else. But that's what I think is going to go down there. Real quick, let me check the Cash App real quick. And it says Kelly Johnson sent me a super chat. It says, for T, is Danny a warg who will live a second life in Drogon? Very, very astute comment. Will Danny live a second life in Drogon? I do believe someone has to live a second life in one of these animals. Someone has to do it in the end. And I don't think it's going to be Danny, because I don't believe Danny has any walking ability. But I think it's a good chance it's either going to be Rickon or it's going to be Arya. One of them will live out their second life inside of a wolf. Now, it could be Rickon. We never seen Rickon use his walking ability. They didn't give all the Starks walking ability. They thought it may be too complicated, so they didn't do that. But we do see that Rickon does die, right? Now, we also heard rumors that, not rumors, but Ed Sheeran said that Arya was supposed to die in the season that he was in. That was the way it was supposed to go. That was the reason why he was cast and put in there as a gift from the showrunners, because Arya's character was going to be killed off. And then they changed their mind. And then they had the whole thing with the Night King. So, it's one of them. One of them is going to live their second life in one of these wolves. Guaranteed. It could be a Shaggy Dog story with a Shaggy Dog story. A story that usually leads nowhere. It could be Shaggy Dog who does it. but it could be Arya Stark too. But it's one of them. One of them will definitely do it. Kelly Johnson, thank you again for the super chat. It says, T, Daddy has walked blood through the Blackwoods. I'm not saying that you can have blood, doesn't mean you can do it. We have not seen Dany use warging ability. Now again, warging is specifically means that you can, specifically when you warg, it means that you can go inside of a wolf. Right? You have skin changing, and then you have warging. Right? Warging specifically says that's what they call people who go into wolves. Vlad's 6 skins goes into all other animals. He can go into a wolf, but he goes into a lot of other animals too. So to say that she's a warg, I wouldn't say. Does she have blood? I would say half of the North has blood of skin changers, has a drop of blood of skin changers in there. Does not mean you can do it. What's going on, Phil?
Not too much. I wonder what if the original situation was with the Arya thing. Was she gonna die and then maybe jump into Nymeria? Was it before she met Nymeria? Did the wolf pack kill her? I wonder how she was going to die, if she was going to die. The Lannister soldiers weren't going to kill her. I wonder exactly what they planned to happen that they changed their mind about with her in that situation.
But I got a person who I can't pronounce your name. He just subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing. I wish if you could put how to pronounce it in the chat. I definitely will pronounce it. I don't want to butcher it, but thank you for subscribing to the channel and everything. And if you came over from a different channel, LML's channel or his a gray area, thank you so much for giving us a chance over here. I really do appreciate it.
Vince says HBO didn't want their HQ burned down and lose subscription money. That's why Arya lived. And I mean, I think we talked about that a little bit earlier or last night in reference to something where early on it seemed like any character could go, but later on a lot of the main group of characters did get serious plot armor and nothing could happen to them. And they're probably, we can't kill Arya. She needs to be around in the final season. We can't do that. No, we can't do that.
Yeah, I think something like that, definitely. I mean, you hear it, right? There's a prophecy that Jon says to her, you're going to die with needles stuck frozen between your fingers, right? Jon does say that in the books to her. So it's a possibility that she could die during a long night with needles stuck between her fingers, that she could get frozen to death, and that's how she goes out. And if her body goes out like that, and you always hear it, she always says, I'm a wolf, I'm a wolf, I'm a wolf. Well, she could be a wolf. She could go into her wolf and live out her second life as a wolf. It could be a situation like that. And wolf is varg in Swedish, which is very eye-opening. Thank you for letting that. Wolf is varg in Swedish, which is great.
I mean, whether she died or not, it would have been great to see her have a bigger defeat or something, like show all that cocky energy that they built up with her through towards the end seasons, and then have her get some defeat. They tried that a little bit with that one scene in the Long Night episode where she's hacking down thousands of walkers, and then suddenly she hits her head, and then she's scared of 2 and she's sneaking around. But they could have gone further with that and maybe not even kill her, but have her get severely injured or something in that battle, just to kind of show that she maybe was a little cocky and didn't understand the threat.
And what I liked about that too is that not only didn't she understand the threat until she realized what was going on, but she got tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was tired. Like, yo, these fuckers won't stop coming. You know, in the beginning, because she's twirling this shit around, like Donatello and shit.
Brace yourself. You know, Mickey's good.
You know, you go out there, listen, you go out there, fight someone or get in the boxing match. Those first 2 punches that you throw, if you're not trained to do this, those first few punches you throw with gusto. But when you get to like the 10th, 11th, 12th punch, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, wait a second.
Dude, occasionally I'll run a 5K or something just for fun, and I end up because I'm like, oh, I walk so much. I'll do fine. And I like an idiot at the beginning of the run. I like sprint to the front. I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm in first place. I'm in first place. And I run. And all these guys that are used to doing it look at me. And they're like, yeah, okay, buddy. And then before I know it, I'm just dragging along. That fatigue sets in.
Because that's the whole thing. Like, so like when you see someone like Floyd Mayweather or these guys, these professional boxers out there and they're fighting, and you say, oh, I could do it. And this is what happens. And then other fighters fight them, right? When other fighters fight them, and you're like, oh, what's going on? These guys, because adrenaline tires the fuck out of you.
Yep.
So Floyd Mayweather's been in big fights with millions of people watching him. That's why they say that the bright lights get you. It's the adrenaline that runs through your body. See, Floyd's been through it, so he knows what that feels like. So he can just get in there and be relaxed. You're sitting there, you're half naked, and everyone's watching. The cameras are flashing, and this is it. And that moment tenses you up. And that moment, that adrenaline fucks you up. And that's why he always has the advantage. That's why I said it's your first big fight. You don't have that advantage over these guys who've been through this before. And that's why it's such a big deal. You know, even the fight, whether it's football, Super Bowls, or anything, that's why these veterans who've been in it, they know what to expect. They can get that because that adrenaline runs through your ass.
Yeah, once that adrenaline splits, you're in no man's land with energy. Whether you're on stage and you jump out, like you play your first shows live, and you come out in that first song, and you know it, Tony. You like first time you jump out on stage, you just give it full force energy, and then before you know it, it's the third song. You're like, oh my god, I have an hour set to do. What the fuck? So you learn after doing that a while, you got to pace yourself, or your voice is killed. And because you try to vocalize, whether it be singing or rapping or whatever, in front of people and jump around and entertain at the same time, it's a different challenge as well. And fighting is that to the nth degree. We do have some voicemails to get to, but quickly on the Euron thing, I was listening to you for a while. I agree with pretty much everything you say, except for one thing, in the sense that what if Euron gets a dragon? I think the easiest answer just right away would just be people die. Before he loses that dragon, and I agree he loses that dragon, he's killing a lot of people. I mean, if he's flying around with Valyrian steel armor, a glass candle on dragonback, with a ship of mute people by his side, like he's gonna cause some serious fucking destruction. And I think that's what we'll see. I think we could just end the whole show with like a 2-word what if. What if Euron gets a dragon? People die. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he has it through Winds of Winter and doesn't lose it until like by the end of Winter, he seems like an insurmountable foe of some sort. But I don't know. Maybe that's just in my imagination to overcorrect for Hot Topic Euron, which I do think, to your point about the Barristan thing, they did try to throw something like that in, where he was getting off on being the man to kill one-handed Jaime Lannister, who was, or then when he died, oh, I got killed by Jaime Lannister, the greatest, not forget that he just has one goddamn hand, but whatever. But still, like they put a little bit of that him wanting to fight one of the greats of Westeros thing. So so to your point of where they might be borrowing stuff from here, borrowing stuff from there, that could be a little call out to your Barristan Euron thing. But I do think he kills a lot of damn people if he gets that dragon, Tony.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think he'll burn everyone in Storm's End alive.
Yeah, I
think he burns them all down. Everyone there, the whether it's the sand, the sand snakes, the Nymeria, or the what is her name? What's her name? Adriana, not Adriana.
Oh yeah, Ariana.
I think he burns her. He burns them all. I think she goes. Everyone is doing all the stand snakes that are with him. They go. They get burnt out. Everyone, he burns them all to the ground. He burns Storm's End down. He burns it down.
So to catch up on the voicemails here, this is from area code 757. I think this is Kelly Johnson.
Yo, T, this is Kelly Johnson. So, will Jon Snow put hands on Euron before this is all said and done?
So will Jon Snow put those hands on Euron before this is all said and done?
I don't know if he physically will fight him. I don't think it goes down like that with Euron. I think Euron has to die a dramatic death. I think it has to be something made. It's not just going to be a Ramsay situation where he gets beat up and then eaten by the dogs or something like. Though I do believe that's going to happen. So I will say that, and David Lightbringer saying Philly loves you. Great take right there that you have right there and stuff. So Ramsay, and I go, this is LaDonna Sargent, who is James Johnson's Game of Thrones mother. She came up with this when we were streaming back in the day, that she believed that Ramsay will die by the super PAC of Arya will hunt him down. It'll be Arya in the super PAC because he's doing all this harm to the fake Arya, that the real Arya is going to warg Nymeria and the super PAC. And when he escapes, I believe when he escapes Winterfell after he gets stormed by Stannis, that he's going to then get run down and eaten alive by the Wolfpack. Bro, that's her theory. When you put it out there on the dinosaur, I always give people the credit who made it up and everything else. So I believe that will happen. So I don't think it's going to be the same situation, the beatdown situation that we've seen with Jon Snow, because I do believe that when Winterfell does get taken, it's not going to be Jon Snow, it's going to be Stannis who takes Winterfell.
Now, the wonderful LaDonna, her theory spurned a ridiculous, this isn't going to happen, but it made me think a big epic way for Euron to get destroyed could somebody jump in the dragon and take control of the dragon from him in some way? Could Daenerys turn I know you think that the night, or maybe I think you think it's going to be the Night King, right? Is going to kill Euron and steal the dragon and then burn him or something, some big thing like that. It could also be someone else taking control of the dragon and the dragon turning on him mid-flight somehow. I think that would be an interesting way for him to go to, being all powerful. And then I'm not going to say somebody, I know warging is for wolves, as was said before, but in threat of a better term, skin inhabiting. I don't think someone's going to get inside a dragon, but someone could break the dragon from Euron's control somehow. With Daenerys could definitely do that, or if Aegon is real, could he do that? Or Jon potentially could do that. So there is potential for, if he has this dragon, a real Targaryen stealing the dragon back from him and gloriously killing him.
I hear Dave Lightbringer. I think Jon and Euron will echo Daemon and Aemon over the God's eye, which is a great point. That could be a situation like that go down. Jon would have to have a dragon at this time for that to happen too.
That's good.
I think that's a good idea. I think I don't think he means it would be over the God's eye. That it would be a battle like that we've seen there. The only problem, that battle was, I don't know. So without the spoiler water right now for the dragon, real quick, without the spoiler warning for that. So that was a battle to the death, and both died after that situation. So I don't think Jon goes out. So I definitely think that it could be a situation. As I said, how Euron goes, it's too many ways. I can't think of the exact way. Too many ways of how he's going to go out. But it has to be dramatic. And I do believe that his dragon is going to get turned into the ice dragon by the Night King. Now, I think that's what's going to happen when it's all said and done. So it has to be somewhere in the north when it goes down. Now, is it going to be a White Walker with a goddamn icicle that throws it into him
with a javelin, like Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah. Goddamn Lamar. Goddamn you, Lamar.
I've designed it to go with Lamar's very specific throwing style.
This javelin is bending like
outside. I Poindexter, he designed that shit properly. Sorry, Tony.
What up to Anna, Red Lipstick Club? What up, girly girl? Love you all. Again, let me just say this. I don't like to say it. I don't want to harp on it. You know what I mean? Because we're here to have fun and everything else. But I'm doing these streams every day this week. And the reason why I'm doing these streams not just because I love to do it. Maybe we'll do it every week for the rest of time. Who knows? But right now I'm doing it. My friend passed away. My good friend. He passed away. And he has 2 kids. He has a wife. And I'm trying to raise some money to help them so that when his funeral comes, I could, whatever cost they're going to suffer from this, that somehow we could give back to him. So if anyone could donate anything, I don't care if it's 50 cents or whatever, It doesn't really matter. Any little bit helps. Please send it to the Cash App. That's $ Tony Teflon 545. It's on the crawl. And the reason why I asked for it to be sent there, number one, I'll be able to access it quicker and everything else and get it. But besides that, YouTube takes 40% of all super chat money that comes on there. So I would just like them to get everything that I can give them. All right. It doesn't matter if it's in the end $100 or $40 or whatever. And whatever we get, we're going to give it to them and present them with. So if you can help in any way, if you can't, then that's fine. I understand. Times is hard. Life is hard for everyone. But if you can, and you ever wanted to super chat for me, or this is when I would ask for you to do it, not for me, so I can give it to someone else. All right. And that's it. So that's what it is. And real quick, I'll tell you a little bit about a story. One of my best friends that I ever had in my life, when I moved to upstate New York, we've been friends over. He had Lyme disease, and it didn't get diagnosed for 2 years. So he went from, the basketball star, 6'5", could jump through a Ralph Lauren model, jump through the building, dunk it on anybody. Great at that. You could go, and then he went from that. After getting it not diagnosed, he went to walking on crutches. He went from walking on crutches to being in a wheelchair, to then being in a wheelchair where he had to blow on it to move, to where he lived the last 3 years where he was just inside of a bed. He couldn't breathe on his own. He couldn't open his eyes. He couldn't move anything. And just recently, after he had a episode, his wife decided that, and his family decided that the best thing right now is just to pull the plug and let him finally rest. So it's been a very long road. I mean, he's went to Iraq for stem cell research and overseas and everything, and done everything to try to get him right, and it just wasn't going to happen and everything else. And so I'll tell you, Lyme disease is nothing to joke about. If it doesn't go diagnosed, it's the tip. And when he first started getting symptoms, I was with him. It was on New Year's Eve, actually. We were walking from Jim's Irish Harbor over the Browns, and when we were walking over there, he collapsed. And I was like, "Oh, Tyson, you're drunk." And we just thought he was drunk. And then he collapsed again that night. But we all drinking, we just thought he was drunk. But that was the first signs of it kicking in right then. So that's the whole thing. If you want to know his whole story, you can just Google Tyson Fowler Lyme disease. His wife, who did an excellent job taking care of him all these years, has blogged his whole story up there. So you can go up there and you can see the story and everything else and all that stuff. But that's exactly what happened and stuff like that. So that's who I'm trying to raise the money for him and everything else. All right. So that's so we'll go back into, I don't want to depress anybody and everything else like that. But
no, it's just honesty, and sorry that you're going through this in his family, and it's awesome that you're doing this. And as you said, any little bit counts, and Lyme disease is no fucking joke.
No.
Get your pets, taken care of. Check yourself for ticks if you go out in the woods. It's no fucking joke. It's no fucking joke, Tony. Area code. Oh, well, this will make us feel better. Area code 916.
Yes.
Hello. This is the voice at 916. Hoping the storm doesn't take out my electricity and I can continue to enjoy the stream. I'm so glad we are talking about this topic. Euron is the 3 C's. He's crazy, he's cruel, and he's cunning. Megalomaniac to the max. But my question is, would Euron, would Grayjoy be satisfied with the Iron Throne? Because according to the Winds of Winter, the Forsaken chapter, it indicates that Euron's main goal is to become a god. So the Iron Throne would be a very small prize for him. What do you think about that? Do you think that's accurate? Look forward to the discussion. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. I smoked my cigarette to the sexiest voice in the whole community.
Oh my God. I wasn't going to drink tonight. I might need a drink.
All right.
And now we have some Miles Davis on
Right there.
WTONEY, Tony Broadcasting coming here.
Oh, she should be radio.
Yeah, you should definitely do the
I don't know
smooth
what she
jazz
does for
radio.
a living, but this her calling is definitely in radio and stuff like that, and I appreciate.
So the main question here is that I got out of that, other than being swooned, would the Iron Throne be a small prize for him?
Mm-mm. I don't think so. I think that, so when you say that you want to be a god, what does that truly mean? Let's look at that for a second. Let's analyze if you're a god, what does that mean? That means people worship you, right? That's what gods, so if you're a godhood, you hear, if you played God of War, this one, you hear, Odin say to Kratos, you know about being a god. Has anyone ever worshipped you? Has anyone ever cared about you? So that's what it's about, worship. You can be worshipped without being God. So I think he wants to be God-like, but sitting on the Iron Throne is a form of godliness, right? Sitting on the throne back in the day was a form of godliness. You were basically worshipped by everybody up there. Why? Because you held their life in the hands. That is why the church got involved. And that was the power of the church. What the church did to the kings they were like, well, the king is not over God. And that gave them the power to check the king so that they could be in cahoots with the king. Listen, you're not over God, king. Always remember that. So now you have to work with me. You scratch my back, as that one guy said, you scratch my back, I'll lick your balls. I think that's a little bit much for a back scratch, but that was what was going on in this situations going on down there. You know what I mean? So I think that, yes, he says he wants to be worshiped, godly, but truly what he wants to be is worshipped. Yeah. And I think being on the Iron Throne and having this abilities that he has with the dragon will get him worshipped. Targaryens were worshipped on Dragonstone, right? By the dragon seeds and everyone else that was there, they were basically worshipped, right? So I think that's what he wants to be more than godly.
Yeah, and I think also godly in the sense, and you were hinting at this as well with the dragons and with everything, having the power of the gods, the unlimited power of it to a certain extent. I mean, not all the gods had unlimited power, but they all had some sort of power, control. So when he says godly, I think it's more the power and the worship rather than the way Craster means when he says I'm a godly man. It's a different sort of thing. In Craster's warped, pathetic, evil, twisted mind, he thinks he's a quote unquote godly man. He's not thinking about it as like unlimited power, God. I am a god. People worship me. Where I think Euron uses the term in more that sense of the word. In the worship me like Zeus, like
yeah, you're gonna worship, you're gonna bow before me.
Yeah.
When you see me, you bow before him. What do they do when you see a king? You bow before him. All right, so it's that's what he's after.
Yeah, like Rai says, Icarus in dark mode. Exactly. We do have a few more voicemails, and I want to catch up. Some of them came early when you were on. This is area code 863. I think this is the Dragon Dabbler, not Diaper. Sorry, guys. Sorry again.
Hey, Tony. Hey, guys. I won't be able to make the full chat tonight, just saying hey, and just listening makes me think of just how much of the TV show just basically missed out on and just stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty crazy to think. Just there's so many things, and I hope the book gets out pretty soon, so everyone can get the ending. Jeez, but anyways, have a good night, guys.
Thank you so much, and I agree. I do want the book to come out, but this isn't. We don't use every opportunity. I know Bridge really does like the end of the series. I'm not necessarily down on everything, but I think I always like to point out the one thing that's inarguably. I think inarguably one of the things that they dropped the ball on was Euron. I would say probably could find a couple out of 100 people that like show Euron. I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. Flame this video. Tell me, Phil, I like him. Don't speak for me. I'm not trying to speak for you. I'm just trying to understand what the consensus opinion is. If we put a poll in Tony's chat right now, do you like show Euron or book Euron? I wonder who's gonna win.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be close either.
Yeah, it's not no use putting that poll. So my point is, I think that was an unmitigated failure on the show's part to depict what is great about that story in the books. The other one would be Dorne. I think both of those, everything else is arguable. Those two, it's even if you don't like Dorne or the Greyjoys in the book, you can't argue that they were fleshed out and way more interesting than what they did on the show. But so for that point, I understand why Tony's discussion earlier about everything to do with Euron Greyjoy can be depressing for show watchers when thinking about the character that we got.
Let me give a shout out to Anna. Red Lipstick Club gave me a super chat. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, Anna. Thank you. I appreciate it so much, girl. And we will be back to do After Dark streams now that I can stream anytime I want, when I want, and do what the fuck I want.
No excuses anymore. It's happening.
No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna definitely do it. We're definitely gonna do it.
And here we go. This is from area code 510.
Hey Tony, it's the D Lightbringer here, and I just wanted to call in to say yet another possibility for Euron getting a dragon would be something having to do with ice magic and the others. Okay, Euron has an awful lot of symbolism that implies him as a Night's King type figure, an archetypal Night King type figure. I did like 2 episodes worth of stuff. There's all the stuff that implies that he should lead the others, that he should lead an army of the dead. Obviously, a lot of people see him as like an evil Bloodstone Emperor parallel. That's also true. Any sort of High King of the Long Night figure, like Night's King, Bloodstone Emperor, Euron has parallels too. So I have wondered if he might, in fact, come to actually become the role of Night's King, because there is no, on the show there's a leader of the others. In the books there isn't. I think the others are looking for a leader. Potentially they're trying to steal Jon's body, but Euron is the other candidate. And so it could be that Euron actually taps into ice magic, like a straight up ice wizard, or it could be that messing around in the astral realm, he essentially gets body snatched by the spirit of the original Night's King or the original Azor Ahai or something like that, which could be lurking in the Weirwood Net. I strongly suspect there is an entity lurking in the Weirwood Net that it may try to body snatch Euron. And this would be George Martin doing a Lovecraftian thing, where you mess around with the spirit world and all of a sudden Cthulhu's like wearing your body like a skin suit. That could happen to Euron. It may have already happened to Euron because we wouldn't know from the outside.
There you go, Tony. What do you think about LML's message? Thank you for the message.
Thank you for leaving the message and everything. I hope everything is going good for you out there. I know you're in Cali right now. I know there's supposed to be a Noah's Ark type storm going through that place. Hopefully everyone who lives out there, you and everyone who out there, my man Derek Brock and all my people out there and everything else, everything is good. All right, so I agree that there's a 100% symbolism that he is. Once that he could lead the others and he could be the person leading the long night and bringing it in. There's no doubt that there's symbolism 100% that points to that direction. And I will not discredit anything that you said. I could see all that stuff taking place. But me personally, when dealing with the Night King, I do believe we will get a Night King. But I think that the Night King is going to be Gilly's baby, Monster. I think that's the Night King that we will get. I think that is the baby. Was that the 100th baby born from Craster's line? I believe that Craster is the son of Blood Raven, which gives him Targaryen blood. And I think that is why when you look at the situation that happened at the wall, what happened up there, Jon Snow sent off Mance Rayder's baby with Gilly, thinking that Melisandre is going to try to sacrifice this baby, and he didn't want this baby to die because it had king's blood. So he sent it off with Gilly and Sam in order to protect it. But the real threat was the baby that was there, Monster, who got stayed behind. And I think that's who they're coming for. When Sam gets attacked by Gilly, even in the show, you hear her say they came for the baby.
They're coming for the baby.
They want this specific baby. This is the 100th baby that is born. And I think that this is what it is. So I think, to me, I think that baby Monster, and it's got the nickname Monster. You hear Val say that baby's a monster. Get it out of here. There's something wrong. Val keeps saying how bad this baby is. That baby's a monster. Get him out. He shouldn't be here. I think that's what happens. And I also think that when the wall comes down and all that, I think it's those damn the 69 Sentinels who was put in the wall and put in there, and people say, oh, you can hear them chipping away at the wall. I think that these motherfuckers is going to break through the wall as dead people. They're going to come through the wall, and I think that's how the people of the Night's Watch get killed, that they're going to resurrect all these people from inside of the wall, and they're going to break through it and everything else. And once they break through the wall, that's how the White Walkers and everyone will get through the wall and everything else, get to the baby, touch the baby, and then that baby becomes the Night King.
Now, I have to read JS's Holgerson's message. We want our baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. All the White Walkers will be singing that outside the wall. We want our baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. Give us that Night King, baby back. Tony, we got another voicemail from the one and only Kelly Johnson.
Yo, T, it's Kelly Johnson again. I gotta say, I gotta disagree with you on the children being the source of all magic, because we know that there are sleeping gods on Westeros, slumbering like underlaying the deep ones and other places. So I just think the R'hllor's religion, they're tapping into another source more closely aligned with fire than what the children are tapping into with their we're network. So that's my opinion.
I think that when it comes to religions, it's what we see in religions, right? And I look at it as we do. So whether you see Jesus Christ or whether you see Muhammad, whether you see, if you go back in the day and look at Horus, the sun god, and you can see the parallels between all that with Jesus Christ, it all is the same story, but to you, depending on where you grew up, it's projected to you differently so that you can accept this story. So when I look at the magic, that's the way I look at it. They're fire magic, but I think because they want to be fire, but I think all blood magic and all magic comes from the children of force, whether it's someone in the water or the fire or anything. It's them manipulating the people, and they're giving it to them the way that they will accept it, right? Because that's what it comes down to, acceptance. So that's, if you live in under the water or you're underneath there, and you ain't going to accept no tree magic, you ain't going to accept no fire magic. You're going to say it's the bubbling god down there. And if you live in a place where it's hot, you're not going to accept no ice magic. You ain't going to accept no tree magic. You're going to have to look into the flame.
You won't even
so
think
when I
ice
look at it,
exists.
I see it. It's like that. That's the way I look at it with them.
But it all
And I don't
comes
look
from the
at the
same
deep
power.
ones as gods in itself. And George R. R. Martin has said that there's not going to be shown any gods in this show. There'll never be shown no great other, no entity, big entity of God over there. They'll never show anything like that. So when you look at the faceless men, I think that and I think they're worshiping people whose skin change. They want that ability to skin. You see all the time when you deal with people that all the magic and all the things that are built are to do what the children of the forest do. The people, the faceless men, they go into other people's faces and everything. That's skin changing right there. You see Euron with the glass candle. What you do with that glass candle is what the children of the forest can naturally do. So all these things that are man-made that we see in there are all to duplicate things that the children of the forest can do naturally, and for them to be able to gain that exact power. So that's the way I look at it.
It's like the prophets on Deep Space Nine. Carl says Craster was sort of an emissaries, speaking of Deep Space Nine, between the White Walkers and men, a foot in each world, like the Cisco, but belonging to neither. He clearly had great respect for magic and gods, and the White Walkers had some measure of respect for him too.
Listen, Crassus, his bloodline is special. That's why they picked him. They would have just picked anybody's baby. Anyone would give up a baby. They killed everybody else, but they didn't kill these babies. They took every one of them, right? So Crassus is special. If you look at my video, I have the video. I did this video. Let me see if I can actually tell you exactly what video. It should be in the description of most of my videos. It should be like in there. I keep this link in that video because it's one of my favorite theories that I made up about it. And I think it's something like the White Walker's monster or something like that. And I have Don the Kraken Wit and Don Willie in the video with me. And I do the whole timeline and break down how exactly Crasta is, how it all works out, that he's Blood Raven's kid and everything else. And how Blood Raven got body snatched by the White Walkers, and how Monster is going to become the new Night King when it's all said and done. So go watch that video. I'm not going to do the whole video, but if you go in any one of my videos and you look in the description, usually that link is in that. If you search 5 of my videos, that link's going to be in one of them, guaranteed. Because it's one of my favorite videos that I ever made. So that's why I put it in all of them and everything else. And all that. Isn't Crasta a bastard target? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That Crasta is Blood Raven's bastard. That's his son. Without a shadow.
Yeah, and then Carl Stark says, what mojo did Craster have that made the White Walkers not just kill him? He had some kind of magic blood or something, blah, blah, blah.
The Targaryen blood. That's it. And listen, when you see, let's think about it real quick. And I explained this in this video, but you could think about it real quick. When Blood Raven left the wall, he was 77 years old. All right. And you can go back and look. I did the whole time. He was 77 when he left and became the Three-Eyed Raven. He wasn't 50. He wasn't 77's old. To go from where he went to where the Three-Eyed Raven is, he's going to need help. Yeah. Ain't no 77-year-old man going to be able to traverse this fucking continent and get there. He didn't get there when he was fucking 72. He was 77. All right? He was an old man when he got up there already. You know what I mean? So in order for him to do that, he had to have some motherfucking help to get the fuck up there. It says straight up that when Craster was born, he was born from a ranger of the Night's Watch. And when his mother came and they chased her away. Blood Raven was a ranger when he first got up to the Night's Watch. So when people say like it was Maester Aemon never was a ranger there. So that's why it can't be Maester Aemon, because they specifically say that his mother was a ranger from the Night's Watch. So who was a ranger from the Night's Watch? That was motherfucking Blood Raven. He was the one out there. Why would they chase somebody away? Because he had the clout to get them chased away. And that's what it was and everything else. So that's why I believe it was Blood Raven, and that's why his blood is magical and everything else. And all that good shit. But you could go check. I think it's called like the White Walker's Monster. That video is called that I made and stuff. If you're interested in it and stuff.
Check Carl Stark adds the wildlings stayed clear to him too. He was so creepy. No one said anything. Vince also said Craster has a magical T count. We do have another voicemail, Tony. Yeah. I think I don't know. Let's see who this is from.
Oh, hello, boys. I see y'all are doing live stream. And this is your Nana calling, Nana Vagar.
Nanny.
I heard y'all talking about the shade of the evening. I just want to tell y'all a story, okay?
Clear your throat. Don't burn anybody.
You know, y'all remember Victarion now. She used to brew up her own shade of the evening. That's right. In a big Valerian steel cauldron every Friday night. And your ratings drank so much one night she fell off her dragon in Dorne. That's actually what happened. Yes, it is. And Victarion, one night she drank so much shade of the evening she actually She fucked herself and created Magor. Magor's a goddamn monster. The mule, I'm telling y'all, it ain't right. Magor ain't right. It's not.
Thank you, Vagar, for taking time. And we definitely hope Euron doesn't get you somehow. I hope you're not resurrected and given to Euron, because then that would be major trouble.
I'm gonna try to get this link for these people. Hey, yo, what the deal? Woo, this video is old. Oh, this video is so old. It's crazy. I did this video, it says 7 years ago. It says 7 years. Let me get the link. I'll put it inside the chat if people want to check out that video. So long ago I did this video. 7 years ago. I've been on this thing for 10 years is gonna be this year. So it'll be 10 years. So yeah, if you want to check out that video I was talking about, the White Walker's monster, go check that out right there. That's the video. The link I just put in there is that video. It says I did that video 7 years ago. So 7 years ago I came up with that theory way back in the day. So I've been on this damn YouTube thing now for 10 years. 10 years this year it will be for me being up and on and everything else. So definitely check out that video and everything else and all that. And again, like Jackie is saying, if you can super chat, please help a brother out, help a family out if you can. Truly would appreciate it and stuff like that if you can do it. If you can't do it, we 100% understand. Life is life, and that's just what it is and stuff. We're back again tomorrow. Back again tomorrow. And everything else. We have more super chats going. I mean, not super chat. This telephone calls.
No, the phone lines are open, and I know Tony's probably gonna wrap things up in the next 15 minutes or so. So now's the time. Get your last minute voicemails in 781-990-8509.
No, Darrell's like, good night. I gotta be up at 4 a.m. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Jackie C. Slut Dragons. You know,
Tony, please explain, what is the outcome of Craster's kids given to the White Walkers? Were they other commanders with the Night's King on the show? Please explain. They turned them on the show. They turned them to White Walkers, and then they joined the armies.
Yeah, so they become White Walkers. Those kids that Craster gives up are straight White Walkers. They're not zombies. They're not whites. They're White Walkers, right? So those kids that he comes up with all became White Walkers. And the last one, the 99th one that he has with Gilly, and also in this video, I don't want to give away the whole video. But I'll talk a little bit about it. In this video, I point out, and I tell you, because I'm telling you this theory I came up with, that if you look at Gilly's name, you hear Master Aemon say, Gilly, like the Gilly flower. If you look up Gilly flower is called the Mother of the Evening. That is the name of it. The Mother of the Evening is the name of the Gilly flower, which would mean she'd be the mother of the long night, mother of the White Walkers, the mother of the Night King. And that's why her name is Gilly and stuff. So I pointed out there in that video and stuff like that and all that. But check it out. The link is in there, but it's called the White Walkers Monster. Is in there and all that stuff. And I did that theory a very long time. I've been in this game for a long time, Phil.
I've been in it a while too, and I feel like I still fucked up the Dragon Dabber's name. I think I called him the Dragon Dabbler when he called earlier. It's Dabber, Dragon Dabber. I've smoked way too much to get your name right, Dabber. I haven't taken dabs, but definitely on that. And Jackie C says, "Dang, Gilly, the Night Queen." And Tony, I could relate to you. I've been at this thing a while. Praise Garth. But I mean, is there with the what if Euron gets a dragon thing? I don't think I think you talked about it for the most part of how he would get it and how he would lose it. So ultimately in this scenario, you think he gets a dragon, burns a bunch of people, burns the Stormlands, and ultimately gets taken down by the Night King with who takes over his dragon and kills him in that situation.
Yeah, it's so many ways he could die.
Yeah.
He has to die in arm's length of Jon Snow because Jon Snow somehow has to get his armor. Jon Snow somehow has to get that Valyrian steel armor, black and red, same color of the Targaryens. He has to get that armor. So somehow he has to be somewhere where he dies where Jon could stumble upon his body or something. You know what I mean? So I can't tell you exactly how I think Euron's going to die. I never really thought that exactly how he dies and stuff. I think I did do a video a long time ago about it, saying that something was going to happen to him. I think I may have said that Jaime Lannister kills him.
Vince, you just reminded me I need to get fucking eggs and fucking bread. Damn you bastard. 3 a.m. So Gilly is a twisted Mary and Sam is a cucked Joseph. Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, if anyone is, it's Sam. No. I mean, no. Okay. We get another message from Kelly Johnson here. 757, I believe.
Yo, what's up, T? Me again. I'm just on this issue of the Craster's children.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like George R. R. Martin's way of saying like all these royal bloodlines, all the hoo-ha that people make it about them, and then you got like basically a whole like inbred family of them running around in the north where, you know, the Targaryens are a big deal everywhere. And Danny's like, I'm the last Targaryen. But then it's kind of like a thumb in the nose to that idea because then you got all of Craster's kids running around. And can you break down how most people think the children are good guys, but you have explained that they are the ultimate villains of the entire series?
Yes, they are the ultimate villains. That's probably one of the first theories that I ever came up with, that the children of the forest are the ultimate villains. And I've said it before and I say it again, that's not Bran, he's been body snatched by the last Green Seer, just like Bloodraven was. And that ultimate game was to get to the Iron Throne. And everything that you've seen that happened, I'll put the video, I will do the videos, I promise you, I'll get them out there. I've done a bunch of them in clay, but I'll go through the whole Targaryen timeline and prove that that everything has been manipulated from the beginning by the children of the forest to get their spot on the Iron Throne at the end. And that's what it really was about. Again, that you hear them say straight up that we don't have a lot of numbers, but we live long lives. When you live long life, that means you can play the long game. Yep. And what do children of the forest do? When they warg and skin change people, what is that doing? That is putting someone in your stead to fight your battles for you because you can't fight them because you don't have it. So that's what they've been doing, putting the pawn pieces out there and having them fight each other so they don't have to kill their own people because they don't have that many people to put, and then eventually take over the Iron Throne. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, sending out messages, whispers, using people to recruit other people. I mean, I think it tracks if you really think about it from an Obi-Wan perspective, from a certain perspective. You can definitely look at it that way, and it's pretty clear in the way that they use people like that. It's nightmares, Luna. It's
nightmares. As Melisandre says, she says, I don't go to sleep because if I sleep, then the great other can get to me. Who's the people that goes into your dreams? The children of the forest. Those are the great others. When she sees Bran and Bloodraven in her dream, when she's there, she says straight up, this can't be the great other. He's not bad looking enough. What have we seen in Game of Thrones from the beginning? That the most best looking people are usually the most evil. And she's falling for that same situation here right now. Not believing that the people that look bad, a great other has to look worse than this. Nope, that's who it is, and that's what you're looking at right now.
I was just gonna say, except for Jaime, because he's truly a good person.
Yeah, Jaime. Bridge ain't here, so we can really talk about Jaime the truth.
We want him to come back, right?
Yeah. Well, if he wasn't busy, he could have came today.
We love you, Bridge. We're waiting to do the what if Jaime didn't lose his hand stream with you.
We did do that already.
I don't think we did that one.
We did the what if Jamie didn't lose his hand.
Did we?
The next stream, we have a bunch of them. I think the next what if stream probably would be what if Robert Baratheon didn't die.
Didn't die yet.
We'll do that stream. Maybe we can get LML to join us on that stream, because that's it. See, when you do these what if streams, it's such a rabbit hole to go down when you start thinking about what would have happened if Robert Baratheon. There's a couple of notable things you would say that's obvious, but in the whole, when you look at the whole story, how the story would change if Robert was still alive, that is when you get to the meat and the nuts and the bolts about it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So the next what if stream we'll do
the Lannisters bleed.
It's a lot of stuff that would happen.
The Lannisters bleed.
You have so much stuff to deal with if he lives. Because
wait, does Cersei find a way to kill? No, I mean, we'll talk about this. Does she find a way to kill Ned though?
No,
like so Ned can't tell Robert. So
no, it's impossible. Ned has to live too. I mean, it's too much.
It's too much to get into now, but we'll get into it in the stream.
Yeah, Luna's saying, what if Jaime Lannister didn't join the King's
Yeah, that's actually one of the ones we have as well.
Yeah, we have a bunch of tickets.
Yep.
That we did. So we'll definitely do that one because we have that one down. One right there. So
that is written down somewhere. What if he never joins the Kingsguard?
Yeah, we have that one written down if he doesn't join it, which is a big deal because he doesn't have the kids with Cersei.
Yep.
You know, which would be the first thing that he doesn't have the kids with Cersei if that's the case. So then you have to start thinking of if he's going to have kids, who's have kids with, and how does this affect everything?
And it affects Tyrion too. Does Tyrion get as much attention and shit from Tywin, who'd have to look at him as a potential heir, if Jaime's automatically the heir, or is Tyrion allowed to be a little bit, not that he didn't do what he wanted anyway, but just doesn't get any attention, just kind of gets ignored instead of getting his father's ire so much?
No doubt. Make sure you call in 781-990-8509. Let me run to the bathroom, Phil. You hold this down real quick.
Let's go into the live chat here. Green dreams are not necessarily a good, fun thing, probably terrifying in real life. I mean, if any of us have ever had real nightmares, like the waking ones, for me, and I don't know if it's the same thing for anybody else, but I can only speak to me. The worst nightmares I have are in that waking sleep state, when I wake up for a second, then fall back asleep before I fall completely deep. I mean, some people do, but I don't remember my deep sleep dreams. It's only those ones right before you wake up or when you're in that in-between point. And if somebody in any way could hijack it, it's not going to be cool. Even the Golden Child that played that scene for comedy when Tywin jumped in Eddie Murphy's dreams and wanted to it turned into a whole big party because you're half in Eddie Murphy's dream, so you're on a game show of some kind, like hosting it in this really funny over the top way. It gets scary at a point in time because it just must be absolutely frightening if you imagine that dynamic, because any nightmare I've ever had that seems real in those moments is horrifying and kind of sticks with you for a couple of days after, or at least that, again, for me it does. So yeah, I was saying even the Eddie Murphy dream and the Golden Child is horrifying at the end. They show when Tywin shows to be the last green seer there, jumps in Eddie's mind. So it must be just a horrifying kind of feeling to have someone jump into your dream.
The Asian chicks wrapped up in toilet paper.
Yeah. I've been waiting for you. You have? Yes, I have.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Why are you in toilet paper?
And then the best part, they have the crowd, the live audience. They're chatting. Yeah.
Yeah, like the laughing crowd or something.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, go watch the Golden Child. You want to see, Tywin Lannister, Saddam Noonspa.
Yeah.
Noopsie.
My sweet brother Noomsby.
Noopsie.
Oh my God. Yes, I want the knife. Please.
I've seen that movie more than I've seen any movie live in my life. And when that movie came out, I would say, no doubt, I've probably seen that movie 10, 11 times in the movie theater.
Yeah.
I just kept going to see that movie over and over again when I was young. Like, that was like I bought the hat. I had the same hat he had. I used to walk around. My cousin thought he used to make the fake laugh. And everything else.
It's great. Great. I mean, obviously, historically, people look back on that movie not as fondly as Beverly Hills Cop or 48 Hours or Trading Places or Coming to America or a lot of his other early movies. But I still think that one's awesome too. I think it gets.
And the Golden Child's a girl.
Yeah.
And people think it's a boy, but the Golden Child's actually a girl.
And of course, any movie or television show that has Charles Dance as an enemy in it is great. And like all Charles Dance's like crew of his underlings there, his henchmen are all like really memorable. There's the one henchman that has that whole scene where the can turns into this little dancing.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, the stop motion stuff. They do some stop motion stuff in the movie.
That was a Pepsi can.
They cut the Pepsi can. I remember as a kid, and I guess that's my point. Like watching The Golden Child as a kid, it's more impressive than watching 48 Hours, which was a boring movie with an asshole Nicholas Nolte. And I'm just like, I don't want to watch this shit. Put on The Golden Child. But
and thank you for the super chat. Kelly Johnson, that girl stomped them dudes out. Like, yeah, she did. She went crazy in the crowd. She's like, what was that? What was that with the flips? The flip. What was that with the flip?
I saw that. And yes, Eric Graham. The other movie that Tywin plays a similar character is in a very other underrated movie, but you got to be in on the joke to like it. I see why it didn't do as good at the time. Last Action Hero. It's one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, and Tywin is fucking great in that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's bad. It's bad, but it's bad good. I love when he walks up on a poster and it's Sylvester Stallone as Terminator 2. And he goes, Sly was amazing in this. This is his best movie yet. And they're in the video store, and the kid's like, how can this blonde girl work in this video store? We are in California. He's already running for office there. Sorry. Okay.
All right. We have no more.
I know I've started to talk about random Tywin Lannister movies. Oh no, we have one more call from Kelly Johnson, Tony.
And I'll say thank you real quick. I got super chat from Carolina and from Kelly Johnson. So thank you so much for the super chat.
And we have one last voicemail from Kelly Johnson from area code 757.
What up, Phil? So this is a question for you since T just took a quick break. So we've seen the trash that's Star Trek, the Discovery, whatever trash show. I don't mind Picard.
It's okay.
As much as some people do. I didn't think it was that bad, but I know a lot of people hate it. And then you got like Lower Decks or whatever. I only watched that. And you had Brave New World or Strange New Worlds or whatever. And I watched a little bit of that. I thought it was trash. But then you have the greatest storyline of all time, Star Trek, binging Lafayette Cisco and all that interweaving storyline throughout DS9, starting out slow and then catching up speed as the series went on to one of the greatest storylines that Star Trek has ever seen. Will we ever see that again?
No, we won't see anything that great again. I won't hijack the end of Tony's stream and turn us all about Deep Space Nine, but you're absolutely right. Those first two seasons set up the storyline amazing, and then season 3 was a great transitional season, and then when Michael Dorn set on the foot on the promenade at the beginning of season 4, it was on, and then you got 4 through 7 of absolute crazy action in a storyline that built it up and kind of right before The Sopranos and Oz and shows like that influenced long form storytelling in a way. It's why it didn't get as mainstream as the rest of the series. You had freaking Avery Brooks running that as like the greatest captain. You had amazing characters like Quark and Garak that were unique to Star Trek, and even Kira and Dax. They were all unique, real characters. So no argument out of me. Will we ever see that again? I don't know. I don't like going back to the well and trying to do things over again, but hopefully Star Trek will get to something good like that again someday. And Kelly, you and I are on the same page when it comes to Deep Space Nine.
100%. You know what I said?
Sorry for the random Star Trek
No,
random.
I don't mind talking Star. I wish I knew more about it. I can only talk.
You would Deep Space Nine it's a long watch. You got to get through some silly stuff at the beginning, but it plays a little different than other Star Trek stuff because it's not like episode of the week, solve the problem. It's an ongoing storyline that builds and builds to the end where there's a huge amount of action and that still kind of holds up. It could use an HD makeover because it's at that point right before everything crossed over, so it's noticeable that it isn't in HD. Oz is the same way. I believe you have to watch Oz in like 4:3. They don't even have Oz, maybe not in full widescreen in some of the stuff, but yeah. So yes, we do. I do need to do a Star Trek stream. I got to do a Deep Space Nine stream. Maybe I'll do a single stream about each of the series. So sorry.
No doubt. All right, listen, everybody. KP, good night, guys. I didn't even see you in here, bro. You just came in here at the end just to say good night, but at least you came in here.
And Carl, the Bajorans were always whiny.
You know what I mean? Thank everyone. Let me thank again, Gray Area, LML, David Lightbringer for retweeting the tweet, you know, and anyone who donated any money, we truly appreciate that. It really helped out a whole bunch, you know what I mean? Really, truly appreciate it and everything. Listen, I'll be back tomorrow. Every day this week, until I'll be here every day. Every day this week, we're going to do it. I'll be back tomorrow with another. What the video is going to be about, I don't know. But somehow I'll figure out a topic to do another video, and we'll do a video tomorrow too and everything else. All right. Thank you, Phil, for always rocking with me, man. I truly appreciate it. Couldn't do it without you, bro. And everything else. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up to spread this across the realm. And as always, subscribe. And yeah, you can donate to the Cash App even when the stream's not on if you want.
Yeah,
this
is a 24-hour a day Teflon-a-thon. And
I wish I could do that. Like just play my old videos just straight on. Maybe I could somehow do that. Maybe I could just play the playlist and just do like a playlist and just play all my old videos from one playlist and do something like that. Maybe I can do that. We'll see what I can do. But thank you. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up to spread this across the realm. And as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace. And to my people in California, stay safe.